sitting here watching this stream today, you cannot underestimate how ahead of the curve you are right now.
Bitcoin looks tired. Altcoins look hungry.
I'm just not quite sure that Bitcoin has any more sauce.
I still think this thing is really worth a lot more than it is.
This stuff's spooky, man. These chaos PRZs are intense.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Solana is highly performant and has the team with the experience to support it.
$4,800 Ethereum. That's a big, big move here.
Whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Boom. Welcome back, everybody, to DeltaFi by Hxro Labs. Good to have you guys back here. It's been a couple of weeks. We've had some adventures. I was in Miami with Rob and Dan, which was refreshing to see them again twice in 2 months after not meeting them for a year and a half. Pretty exciting. And I got to shoot guns. I got to shoot automatic weapons at Lock and Load Miami. Big shout out to them. They made it fun. Not so scary as I thought. What'd you do in Miami, Rob? So you got a bit of a tan, better than me. I don't know, my lighting's supposed to make me look tan, but we're too pasty up here. There's no lighting that can do that.
Yeah, I didn't get much sun. We were working. I mean, anytime, I'll tell you, it's such a rush and such a pleasure to be at these events with people that we're building with, that we end up sitting in front of our computers and working. And there was one afternoon that Dan and I had our laptops out by the pool.
That's when I ran into you, yeah.
Yeah,
very cool. As I'm off to like hit a jet ski rental, you're just like, yeah, I actually have to work today.
I know. There's just so much. There's so much to do. So, these trips for us, they end up just being more work. And I guess when you're out of town, even you can do more work. So
I get that enviable type of founded a fund, doing content. So when I go on these trips, it's just like lunches, parties, events. We hosted our first event. Shout out to Marshland. They helped organize pretty much everything, and we co-funded with them. We got some sponsors, and we put on a show. We had Major Laser on the Wednesday. It was dope. Magnus Capital, we felt like that was our big sort of on the map night, and we had two. We had a yacht party. We sold that out. So, I mean, it was just party, and then I ran into you, did some stuff, shot some guns, a nice dinner. But no, it was a good week. I'll tell you what, I think the highlight of that trip was the big nuke from 50, whatever it was, to 42. And we were with you at the FTX party on the Friday night, and I was in the bathroom. I heard some guy going on and on about I got to close my short. Oh, I'm short from 58. I got to close it. It's nuking. And there was no internet. There was no connection for anyone's cell phones. And I came out and ran into Emmy and Scott, and they were there. And, we're just looking at this long 12-hour wick. It was disgusting. And I don't think anyone in the club realized. And then slowly you could just see it sift through the crowd. Everyone's like, did you hear Bitcoin just dropped 10K? I don't think anyone was overly butthurt. I was a little disappointed because it was so obscene. Let's get a chart up. It was so obscene that I just thought this is that one that, it's going to just bounce. Even if it's going to be the start of a downtrend and then we're going to go lower. Where was it? It was the first time I've seen that really since the back here. We saw that down at the 42s again, basically the same level back in September. And when you see that kind of dumpage, and that the bottom 5-10% of that move is just liquidations, you can be pretty sure that on the short time frame, that's a good buy, because those are people that are selling because they're forced to sell, not because they're like, my thesis has changed and I would like to sell at a discount. And the sharks come in and they'll buy that up. And that's exactly what we saw here, right? You drop down. It was probably a matter of seconds. All those liquidations get triggered. Anyone with bids resting down here, like I should have, because these are my levels. This is my reload zone. This is the shit we learn. And I just don't anymore typically have a whole bunch of bids working for those days. In Miami, not paying attention. But yeah, sick bounce. And now we're just kind of, is it a dead cat? I don't know. Is it gonna drop? So we're gonna talk a bit about that today. But that was probably the highlight for me, was just watching the blood running out of people's faces when they saw. I'm sure some guys there were long on leverage and we're part of that. But
I think everybody there is long in one way or another.
Yeah.
You know, I never love to see moves like that, but to me that was not the most natural of moves.
The timing was
And
suspicious.
timing, I mean, anytime you see something like that on a weekend, on a Friday night, I mean, let's look at it big picture. Friday day in the traditional markets was not a strong day. The market got routed. You know, Bitcoin had not been showing, you know, the most strength leading into it, but it was hanging in there. But you know, when you see a move from 51,000 down to 42,000 like that in a flash, I mean, that to me was
Friday night fights.
Yeah.
Friday night lights.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I had this chart on my laptop. Like, I hadn't pulled it up, but, you know, it's BTC Daily. It's one of my templates, and I had this SR flip. This was green when I found it. So I went back, you know, the next, I think it was like even later that night. Oh, yeah, we were flying out the next day. So you and I left a little bit earlier, like, I don't know, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. By the way, it took me 2 hours to check in. Like, imagine, like, you're leaving the club, you're like, I gotta fly out tomorrow, and then you're trying to go through, like, the COVID protocols and upload your tests, and it was 2 hours of trying to figure that out. Anyways, I see this chart. It's like 5 a.m. I'm like, I'm still gonna check the charts. So I go, and I was like, oh, shit. There was some warning signs. I know it's easy to say, you look back, you say, well, yeah, it was obvious. It wasn't obvious, but there was some warning signs. I mean, we came into this key level. This was the resistance in the spring. And when we lost this resistance, it was lights out. And we regained this resistance. And then into Lisbon, we peaked. I talk about timelines as of where I was at the time. So at the start of the summer, or start of November, you know, we peaked, and then we navigated this line and we lost it. It was a big level to lose. In fact, we lost it. We came up, retested it. So that fail, you can expect that to not be nice and easy. And obviously, since having washed out all the leverage back in September, we hadn't had one yet in a long while. And you say that during these, you know, and then usually after these end, somebody goes, oh, next time that happens, I'm going to get long and I'm not going to forget this feeling. Well, here it is. You know, we just rinsed the books. So if we're in a bull, if you expect any continued bull, it's right after these that is the hardest to start getting bullish. Usually the times that age the best. It is tricky when, you know, it's a little uncomfortable to buy it like right now, and then you're also looking at buying 20% off the lows. But again, this isn't real price action. Like you said, this is liquidations. This is fishy. Not, you know, I don't even know if it's fishy in like it's illegal sense. It's more just like, I feel like there was some targeting going on here.
Yeah.
Bit about what you were saying.
I think so.
But the TA was there. The TA was there to suggest, you know, don't buy, like, don't bid this, don't support it. And the whales, I think, just pulled back. They said, fuck it, let's wash it. And it looked like it didn't take much, just one little, and then Cascade was on.
Yeah. And it was, you know, it was definitely, it was cooked. Like the leverage was high. It
ran out of
was
buyers.
right. But
Yeah, I think it was ripe. It was like, and that's it, right? I think there's always going to be whales, large players who have the ability to move the market to get the price that they want, which is always as low as possible, which means liquidating people. And they're always lurking, waiting to see, you know, when is it that we're over leveraged and there's low volume and we've just lost a key level, so I can count on some of the other whales not necessarily wanting to buy here. And then, okay, let's go for it. And it's Friday night. Everyone's in Miami. You know, everyone. There's a bunch of people in Miami. Not everyone.
yeah.
But we're gonna choose this time. So you're right. I think you're right. Not coincidental. Probably a very targeted attack. When best to rug it. When best to make your play. And they made their play. Somebody there filled bags, and now they're in profit. I mean, that's it, right? So no real price action below 46K, like from whatever 42 to 46 was really just a quick wiki.
Yeah.
And now now the bulls are back in control for the short term. We see on the hourly here this morning, we got a nice little hourly candle right after our friend from 3 Arrows tweeted out buckle up. I thought that was kind of funny at this throwback. He tweeted out, Suzu tweeted out buckle up. I was like, oh, come on, this guy.
Yeah.
And then like 10 minutes later it just went zoo. So
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows who did that? But I have my suspicions.
Yeah.
What are you seeing in the market? You know, it's end of year, wrapping up Q4 tax selling season. Like, what's your play right now? What are you doing day to day in the market for your time you have?
You know, it's really interesting. I think that the talk, you know, last week was, there's two things in the macro world. One is the idea that the Fed is going to start tapering sooner and start actually raising rates sooner because of how kind of hot inflation was. And you couple that with, then you get this Omicron variant, and that just made people feel even more unsettled. It just brought in some more uncertainty, you know, and then you're seeing tweets like, is this March 2020 again, or is it not? And so I think that, you know, we're looking at this idea where, you know, we've been in this interest rate regime where it was just lower, zero, lower for longer, and now it's time for the Fed to start tapering and then raising rates. I think you had a lot of that, and then you get this new variant and scaring people. Like, it was a combination of those
Cocktail.
things. But I'll tell you what, like, this new variant issue, like, the idea of if it was to get as bad as before, that to me is not necessarily bearish Bitcoin, and because it just to me means like more of the same. We saw that movie once already, you know, that knee-jerk sell-off from March 2020 was the best buying opportunity.
That's what I was saying, right? You and Dan, like, we talked about this. I was like, but wait, wasn't that, you know, don't we know how that story ends? And he was like, well, yeah, but we know how it starts. And if you think it's coming, you know, you react ahead of time, right?
Yep, exactly. It just like,
it seems like a known.
Yeah. And then, you know, people are looking at the dollar and interest rates. Actually, bonds rallied. So yields came down. And I'll tell you what, like, I look at the dollar index right now, and I guess I'm looking at like even the 4-hour or the hourly.
I got to redo my chart. Like, I haven't really charted it in a while.
Yeah.
It's playing out as you said, right? All this time I said, hey, if we break out from this W, like, that's lights out for crypto. It hasn't been. And remember, you always kind of hummed and hummed. You said, well, I don't know, like, if dollar strong equals Bitcoin weak anymore, or if it has to. And I love that kind of played out, because I didn't sell all my Bitcoin just because of the Dixie breakout, and a lot of that had to do with your analysis. So thank you, sir.
Go zoom in. You're looking at the weekly there, and that looks kind of like it could be retesting. But I've been looking at the hourly and the 4-hour, and it kind of looks toppy on this run to me. Like, I could easily see this thing roll over. I mean, you know, you can say, is this head and shoulders? Is it what is it?
Well, it's negative. You know what? It's bearish or bullish market structure. I think it's keep it simple, right? They're all part of the same W's and M's.
Yeah. I mean, this to me doesn't, like, is it bullish? Can it continue? Is it a flag? Sure, it can turn into that. But this thing could shit the bed easily, and everyone would be like, I told you, like, look at that. That's a classic reversal, you know, toppy structure there. I'm like, I kind of could see that in so many charts. Like, the bottom line to me with charts is, like, people say, oh, well, you know, the chart looks so good. Well, usually when charts look so good is when something happens and all of a sudden they're not looking so good anymore. So,
well, it depends who's saying that, right? I mean, the guys at TRI that I hang with and trade with, like, Beamish will look at the most, like, sold off chart ever. It'll just show a hint of reversal. He's like, that chart looks good.
I know.
Everyone else looks at that chart. They're like, this looks like shit. It's dead. Yeah.
I know.
They look at the moon charts, the big dildos. They say, that looks good. I'm just like, stay the fuck away from that.
Agreed.
So it really depends who's looking, what they're looking for. And, you know, what you're seeing here on the Dixie, you'd summarize it as, you know, exhaustion. You're not sold on this target I have drawn up here in the sky at 98.
Listen, it could go easy. That could be a little pennant. And it goes and rips higher. Like,
yeah, I mean, as a pennant, it looks bullish. As a
if
as an M top, it looks unconfirmed. But if it confirms,
yeah,
that's usually enough to at least trigger a setup. And here's the thing, like, right here, you kind of had a high, you had a lower high, and then a dump. Well, you got rinsed, and that was like almost like a trap, right? And now you have the high, you have the lower high, and let's see if we close below this midpoint. That's your confirmed M top, and like people like to say, oh, well, TA is a meme. It doesn't have to be right every time. It doesn't have to work every time. It just has to work more often than it doesn't, and it has to give you like directional risk, so you can say, okay, I'm going to be short from here because that's the I'm going to risk to there because then it's invalidated, and then how far can I get it? If it's at least 3-to-1, I'm profitable. So I don't know. I don't trade the Dixie, but why are we talking about it? Like, what do you see as this relates to crypto or global markets? What are you looking for?
Well,
actionable.
I mean, we've talked about this so many times with the Dixie, because to me, crypto strength is so much more than it's, comparing it to the US dollar's strength against all the other fiat currencies, that basket of the euro, the yen, the won, all of that stuff. I think crypto is really kind of gaining share against that whole entire basket, including the dollar. So I do think there are going to be periods, and there have been periods, where crypto can rally and gain overall market cap when the dollar is gaining against the other fiat shitcoins.
Mm-hmm.
That can happen. It does happen. Now,
it's been happening. I mean, we've been bullish since what should have been the harbinger of bear market in September, and we actually were kind of bearish in September, and we overcame it. So
well, the flip side of that argument is that what the dollar index, when it's rallying, what that represents is this kind of flight to quality, and there's a reason why big money is flowing into the dollar. And it's that feeling, that overall fundamental reason, which makes headwinds for risk assets. And more, Bitcoin is, it's a risk asset, and more it's kind of acting more institutionalized and more tied to traditional, markets. So that's the argument against me, where I'm like, Bitcoin and crypto market cap is not just against the dollar and how the dollar relates to other fiat currencies. It's more against all of those fiat currencies. So the flip side is dollar strength usually it signals some just bigger movement out of risk and into the dollar. So like, it's two kind of, there's always two ways to look at everything. There's more than two ways to look at stuff, but that's like the battle that goes on there. I see what you just put on the screen there. To be honest, like this congressional hearing, and I've never felt better about the representatives that are stepping up and making our case for crypto here. It's just getting better and better. You
could feel it too. I know you mentioned you didn't get a ton of time to watch. You had a lot more calls and actual work too. My work today was to watch this. As it turns out, I didn't know it was going to be so long. But hey, this guy is he crypto's new caped crusader? I think a lot of people went in there thinking, I know Sam. I love Sam. We're going to listen to Sam. Sam crushed it. He did well. But this Brooks guy, founder, CEO, chairman, whatever you want to call him, of BitFury, incredible.
Yeah.
And as someone who appreciates well-spoken verbiage, language, whatever, I really, really enjoyed listening to him speak. Every time they called on him, I just thought, what's he going to say next? And he's just so, I don't know. He found a way to be educating them and not condescending, but also letting them know, there was a few tough questions thrown at him that he's just kind of like, well, or you could look at the inflation or whatever. Like, I can't even quote too many of what he says, but crypto is just a step function improvement in the system.
Yep.
I mean, I was hanging out with the Hero Labs team in the Slack, and we pulled about 10 quotes from him. Like, he's he was on fire today. So I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more with you. And I think the underlying tone of the entire thing took on a much more like, hey, this thing's here. We're interested. The Senate, from what I see, is well aware now that they cannot squash this. They have no interest in it. It's not in their best interest. Like that whole worry, I feel like, is, if it wasn't already, is gone. And it's like, hey, teach us about it. We're curious about it. We want everyone to be safe, but we want innovation to stay here. And they were asking a ton of the right questions, and they were getting really good answers. So I mean, I ate it up. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, the future is so bright for Bitcoin, for crypto in general. It's don't get caught over levered here. You know that.
Don't get caught over levered ever.
Yeah.
But you know, it is this end of the year, and I want to talk about it. I know, you know, December, we're coming up to the end of the 4-year cycle, which is not. I do this because the market is changing, and I don't think we'll live inside of a 4-year Bitcoin heavy cycle forever. I think we're already not. This cycle has played out somewhat differently. However, started off bearish, ended off very bullish, and now we're coming into the end of the year where there's a lot of this all or nothing mentality, right? It's going to be a bull or it's going to be a bear, and there's no way it can just kind of be a bit of both or, you know, have its ebbs and flows. And that's an important question for me, personally, as a trader, as an investor. What do I want to do? Do I want to go heavy risk off just in case? Do I want to, you know, so I've been working on that all week, spreadsheeting, data collection, you know, portfolio rebalancing, trying to figure out exactly how most optimally to position myself. Now, I don't even have to ask, but I will. You, long as balls, like hasn't changed. Not a whole lot's changed, right? You live mostly, can I say, in spot, like you know, you don't live on the edge of leverage. So what have you been up to? How are you positioning into the end of the year?
I like buying dips. I mean, I don't know.
Fucking Chad.
No, I think that
You know,
but it hurts. I mean, you know, when you're following the market all day, every day, and you start, you know, that was just part of the job as being a professional, you know, options market maker, and you're living it. You're streaming quotes. You're touching all the order flow. You know, you really get into it. So it doesn't feel good, like on something that you really are. I mean, you're just naturally long. We're all working in this industry, and then, you know, when you see something marked down 20% in a bracket, right? And that was just Bitcoin marking down 20%. I mean, alts got just
hammered.
Oaked.
Yeah.
And it's not like that.
As an ice holder.
Yeah, it's like that's a kick in the nuts. And
this is sorry, not to
No,
cut
you-
you off, but this is a blessing and a curse sometimes. To be able to experience a full cycle in 3 weeks.
I mean,
As a trader, I didn't actually sell here. This was like a chaos level. I'll show you on my other chart. But yeah, as a trader, I think somebody said that recently. Like, imagine the learning opportunity that comes with getting to live through entire market cycles within like a short time frame.
yeah.
Right. And this is a perfect example. And then as a trader, it's dope if you want it to be. I actually was just arriving in Lisbon on this day, and I wasn't even thinking about selling ice. But as it turns out, you know, sick top. And then it's like, oh man, now I have to wait months to reload. No, month and a half later, like right back down into a buy zone and showing bullish divergence and some reversal stuff. So there's a lot of this. A lot of alts really ate the shit. And there's a few that we spoke about. I think that, you know, at the time, there's probably some skepticism. I was actually rewatching part of an old episode because I think Victor gave you a shout out on our Twitter the other day because, as usual, you had some pretty interesting takes that played out. But you remember when we were talking about Phantom?
Yeah.
Right? And I pulled this up yesterday after.
I was thinking about that. Did you have your bid in there?
No. I never actually bid anything ever. I'm a LARP. No. But this is where I'm interested again. And it, you know, okay, cool, hit the sweet spot, whatever. But like anything in here, and I'm pretty comfy if I think it's going to go back up. But we talked about that, right? Once this M top comes in, and we've just even today we talked a bit about it. You can expect, again, you never know. You never know. But we play with probabilities, right? So when you have like a W formation, higher low breakout, you can feel pretty good about being long. Uh-oh, look out, it reversed, M top. You know, could it be? Kind of happened here. this was a higher high than this, so it doesn't really count down here. High, lower high, drop, and then it's just retest. Like, let's just wait. And this was the level I said a few weeks ago I'd start to get interested again, 144.
What do you think the odds are?
I am interested.
That retest level. It looks like such, like, when in retrospect, it's like, God, if
Obvious,
you didn't get out, you gotta get the fuck out of there, or at least half. Like, what do you think the odds really are on if we look?
The story behind it is what I find fascinating. You know, when I was younger and I'd look at trading or I'd look at charts and I'd just see them briefly in the numbers on the screen on the news, you know, I'd be like, oh, it's so boring, you know, math, adults, numbers. What really fascinates me about TA and why I love it is it's human emotion painted in candles. And so the emotion behind it, the driving factor behind what we see on the charts is a consistent, you know, human behavioral pattern. And you can spot panic, and you can spot greed, and you can spot FOMO. You can see human emotions in there. And so the behavior associated with these retests and why things like support and resistance levels work is that it's the behavior of the seller. So let's just say here, okay, I'm going to load up here. I'm going to buy here. You know, it's a pullback. I'm going to buy. I'm long from $2.69. Mm-hmm. I'm now underwater. I hate that feeling, right? We hate that. When you're underwater, you hate that feeling. And so when you get back to break even before that feeling existed, you're back to feeling good. You're no longer feeling bad. You're scared of that feeling. You don't want to feel that anymore, so you sell. People selling at break even after being underwater is a thing. And so you say to yourself, well, where's everyone break even? Well, look at where the hell all this support was. There was a ton of buying support going on there. So you can expect there's a lot of people that have to unload at that level. They don't even know. It's subconscious, right? You talk to like, I mean, how many times have a newbie trader, a friend of mine, family, and they'll be like, I'm back to break even. You know, should I sell? And I always laugh. I'm like, that's the thing. Like, that's what you do. And then traders like us, we look at that and we take advantage of that information. And so there's even more selling pressure there because I may be not even in a position, but I'm going to short that because I know about that behavioral dynamic. So what you ask, what are the odds of this just being a sick level to short from? I'd say pretty good, especially when you zoom out and look at some of the other markets. And if the whole market is up against resistance, and then you see like a little bit of failing volume here where the initial blast had some good buying volume, but then there was less buying volume on the next candle, you start to add all that together. And I bet you could zoom in on the 1 hour and find some kind of, you know, bearish divergence here. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can eventually get to where you have many reasons unrelated to take a trade, right? Mm-hmm. Right here, all of these hourly indicators, well, the RSI anyways and the MACD, the two I look at, were in bearish divergence as it came into that level. So yeah, in retrospect, it's very easy to say I would have laid so much risk, but even if you don't know, you can just lay 1% risk. You know? Yeah, that's it. So there was a trade in there for all the times I say, like, I'll buy it when it gets down here. And then I start thinking, why the hell didn't I short it to that level? Yeah, I'm not that active in that kind of trading right now. So, but yeah, there you go.
But listen, I mean, I bet if we pull up a lot of charts right now, you're going to see a lot that look good in your fib retrace level. Like, we
will. MATIC won't be one of them, but yes, there's going to be a lot of reload zones right now, and that's more what I'm looking at. You know, I think the hot news today, people algo wise probably tuning in here to hear about MATIC and some of the things that are leading.
Yeah.
What's going on with MATIC? Anyways, have you been aware of anything? I heard there was some news coming, but I have no idea what it is. I literally read that in passing at some random chat, but
I saw one of the most hysterical kind of meme videos that it goes back to my days about 5-6 years ago at the options trading firm, and it's with this, I think these Mexican comedians, and they're on a TV show, and the guy's got the most infectious, amazing laugh. And people always just fill in the subtitles with whatever it was. There was a great one they did with like a Euro-dollar market makers, but there was one last night that was circulating on MATIC. And this was about like ZK Snark, that they were kind of incorporating some of that technology.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
It just was like, it was so hilarious. We can't even show it.
ZK Snark is privacy, right?
Yeah.
That's like
the
Zcash
whole
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Roll ups and all that.
Roll ups.
Yeah.
Isn't that on the docket for ETH too? I keep hearing about roll ups. Is that a privacy thing? I should really read more about devs and tech stuff, but I should know everything about ETH2 by now. It's been friggin' 4 years in development. But yeah,
it is. But I haven't been in MATIC.
Me neither.
I
have my doubts. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean I kind of was hearing just, on some negative stuff just from people who were actually using it.
That's my thing. Yeah, I go there and I'm sick to death of the use of it. Like sick to death is a bit dramatic, but yeah, I send a transaction. It takes 20 minutes and then it confirms, and then it says the time it took to confirm was like 20 seconds. It's what the blockchain says. So I'm like, you're literally lying on the blockchain. That's not trustless. Like, that pissed me off. That was one day I spent about 2 hours trying to get funds into a certain Polygon wallet to retrieve shit that was in there. Like, I don't know. It was a bad experience, and I just thought, well, then I'm not buying this. I'm not investing in this thing that sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm all for Sandeep and the team. I like them.
Yeah.
I think that they're doing good work, and I want to see them succeed. I'm not a hater, but I have a hard time holding that conviction on something that seems broken already, and it's new and it's young. So maybe they have upgrades and forks and shit that they can do, but at a glance, it was disappointing the last time.
Look how strong. I mean, that thing is. I mean, it's
strong. It looks like it's breaking out too. I saw a buddy just post a chart. He's like more of a TRI type trader, but he's also, he'll buy a breakout. And this was a signal. When you get these like kind of highs all aligned, and then you just get a nice weekly close above on rising volume, you can bet the next candle will be green. I mean, I'm just looking at this now, but it was probably written there for any TA guys that are like, this is going to be MATIC's week. That's a signal right there. So it's interesting. And then you got to ask, okay, like, you've had basically since May consolidating below this resistance. What is that explosion going to look like? What is that breakout? And even a conservative chaos level for fun here is like 460. And you could draw that a little more aggressively with like a deeper pullback and a deeper high at 690. But for me, wanting to just play Dr. Conservative and make sure that I hit my TPs if I'm going to set them, that's not a bad look at all. So purely on a profit maxi, maybe I need to get over my hate for, or just kind of like distrust of how poor my experience was using it. And look at that. We've got a fib extension there too. So that's kind of a nice little pocket that I would drop if I was long on MATIC right now.
Yeah. No, it looks
beautiful.
Listen, it's getting money flow. It looks really good.
And it's ignorant for me, I think, so I will just put that out there that, for anyone here who loves MATIC and says, oh, they're going to improve. It is ignorant for me at this point to say I'm not investing because it was a bad user experience on, month 6. Ethereum was kind of a shitty user experience on month 6. AVAX has had some very questionable moments of user experience just a couple months or in the last month, with fees blowing up and all this spamming of the blocks. Like, they've got a lot to work on, and I've got faith they will. So should I give Polygon another chance? Probably. I'm not a breakout trader. Maybe I should be, but I'm not, especially in the macro. Like, we're not in a raging bull, so I'm gonna go find the deals. But MATIC looks good. So if you guys are in the audience here, you're already long on MATIC and you're enjoying your day, give us a shout out. Power to you guys. Great trade. Yeah. Great trade so far, right? It's not a great trade till you close it, but I don't think I would be closing my longs until I got up into this upper echelon here with some nice targets after that breakout. If you haven't already and you want to hit the like button, do it.
Yeah, smash it.
Appreciate it. What are you seeing? Like, let's go through some RLZs. It's just us. Messi couldn't make it today. Dan could make it today. Obviously, we're coming into the Christmas season. It's going to be a really flaky month for us. I'm going to do my best to be here because I'm the host with the networking and all that, the actual internet. But I am moving, as you guys can probably have guessed. So I will be offline and online into a new office. But until that day, I'll see if we can do it without missing a stream. But look, what do I got on my list? Curve. Curve is one. I love Curve. I love Curve for the yield. I love it more because I feel like the underlying is very bullish. Bulls in control on the weekly. Big throwback to all-time high resistance support level in the PCZ. I mean, it's got everything I like.
People who have
That's
been
one
watching,
I bought this week. Yeah.
people who have been watching DeltaFi have been hip to Curve for a while, and you had it presented on a silver platter, for like you said,
September,
for
yeah.
fundamental reasons, for more than just number go up, chart look good.
Well, I'm getting paid to hold it right now, right, on Convex, CVX CRV staking. So, and the yields are actually pretty good. I usually don't let them accumulate very long, or if I do, I tracked it. The daily return is pretty good, but
Yep.
it is paid out in things that are volatile. So I have this fear that just like 2017 when masternodes were all the rage and the price of Dash was super high, and if you held it, the ROI was incredible. Well, then the whole market crashed and all of those yields washed out and all the things you got paid in were worthless. I do have that fear that the yields right now just feel too good. They look too good, and you're just like, how is that sustainable? And over the next 2 years, it'll just have to be like, oh, we fell for it again. I have that fear, but in this case, I wouldn't be shocked if it's like, ooh, and we just whatever. Like there is a lot of CRV being given out as a farming reward still. I hear that it's net deflationary. I hear that there's a whole lot locked up for vote locking. I haven't looked at that myself. Messi's bullish on it. He's long on it. He does look at that kind of stuff. I've been building a position based on my own TA. Noah Seedman, obviously, big fan of this coin, and I'm a big fan of his content. So we've had a few chats, and I'm confident without looking at the numbers myself that the smart people in the room that I like to listen to for that kind of stuff have looked and are, feeling good about it. So
Yeah.
that's my coin. That's the one that I bought this week. Other than that, I've just been buying some Try Crypto 2 on a Curve, or depositing some stables into that, which is essentially 1/3 USDC, or 1/3 stable, 1/3 Bitcoin, 1/3 ETH. So I've been buying the dip in that pool because it pays me 20% and gives me some exposure to ETH and Bitcoin long. So what else do we got? What else are you seeing?
Well, I'll tell you, one that was just rock solid was Luna.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pushing again. It looks like it wants to retest its all-time high at around $78. I mean, it's pushing 74 right now. That thing was just, I mean, it looked like, it almost looked,
It's about to make new highs again.
yeah.
Damn. I gotta redo this whole chart. This thing is just in a whole other universe now. I think we can safely just restart this one.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy though? Like the chaos levels of yesteryear
Yeah.
are now like, if you got filled on those, it's like, holy cow.
You're feeling left out. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, this would have been, a bit more of aggressive chaos. And we actually, just came into it. So there's always a more aggressive chaos level lurking out there. But we have just come in to sort of like, I found actually from that May-June dip that a lot of those, this was AVAX too, right? You take that low, you go back to that little weird midpoint. In fact, this looks a lot like the AVAX chart. Let's just do that real quick. I want to see how close it is. Same thing. Yeah, right here. So you kind of take that low and you take it back to that weird little cliff. We didn't reach that on AVAX. That's 171. So, okay. Relative strength versus AVAX and that particular target, Luna is winning. And why not? You have to burn it to print UST, which apparently there's a lot being printed.
Yep.
I don't know how that whole dynamic works, but I want some UST. Abra Cadabra keeps loading up the MIM UST pair, and the yield on that is sick. It's just stablecoin versus stablecoin. I think you can fold it into like 50%, 60% yield. Even if I wanted to go half-ass and just fold it a couple of times, I could be 30%.
What are they rewarding for that?
Paid in what, you say?
Yeah, what's the yield in?
That's a really good question. I want to say stable coins, but I don't know, and I don't want to misspeak.
Okay.
Damn it.
That's not
I
bad.
should know that because
I'm glad you didn't say spell.
No, I don't want any more spell emissions.
Exactly. But that
70% paid in the thing you also have a bag of. Yeah.
That's a big story from the last couple days. Like,
yeah.
I
should
mean,
talk about that.
How about that
Coinbase listing?
Yeah, that stealth Coinbase listing of stealth.
Yeah. I can never seem to get a good chart on ChartX. They're so glitchy. Let me just head over here to my backup. Yeah, really nice. This is like a take no prisoners bounce. You can short this on FTX. So there is potentially like that kind of vacuum short squeeze that could be going on here where it's just getting sucked up by that. But to me, it strikes me as more of like it was a sleepy giant. It's a sneak attack.
Yeah. This first off, I 2.0 type of chart, stuff that really caught flow, like full cycle, almost looks like a pyramid, just boom, boom, pump, dump, like that.
Yeah.
DeFi 2.0 bucket. But
sucks.
That was with Spell, that was coupled with this too much.
It was just being farm and dumped beside them, right? And so when that started, unfortunately, it is usually during the
stream rugging. Someone just asked.
Oh, error. YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What?
Okay.
Should be fine. Open widget. What? Yeah, stream status poor.
It's that
it's not the rug. The rug is usually it's my gateway that just hiccups and then we get cut. This is like lag on a 1 gigabit hardlined service. And funny story.
It's okay now, they say.
It's good? Okay, good now. So yeah, that was just like a weird glitch in the matrix.
Yeah.
No rug yet. Okay.
I mean, so we're talking about, there was that whole narrative. There's this one guy who puts out some pretty well thought out tweet threads who is basically
always during the downtrend, eh? Just to shit on
the spell bull, but we got to do something about these emissions. We gotta do something about this. If we don't, I don't know. Like, even though he's like $1 pre-programmed, but
that was his last thread. On the way up, he wrote a bullish thread on it. On the way down, he wrote a bearish thread on it. I thought, let's try to time those differently. Like, let's look at the bear case when we're in a place to take profit. Let's look at the bull case when we should be buying. That's typically how I like to do content, but I get it. And people want to read the thing that is the trend right now, which in that case was down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm getting that error again. Just let me know if the buffering thing is bugging you.
I'll tell you what, though.
I really like 1.5. If I'm trying to long this, like after that, if I'm going to see a reversal, what are you going to say?
Yeah, no, there's a couple things going for it. Like, first off, I think Danny Sesta's, I think he's got a pretty good track record of late. I think
he's the real deal.
People were a little bummed out on him when he sold $100 million worth of AVAX and he got out of some stuff. And guess what? He was able to buy everything he sold and more back much better if he wanted to.
Well, I was a little, maybe we should talk about that. I mean, I think that was stupid for people to hate on him and the team. By the way, it wasn't just him. It was a group of very smart OG DeFi whales. I mean, guys who know how to move in size. They know things like you don't put out a proposal to sell $100 million worth of something and ask, what do you guys think? Because that will affect the market. It's just not it's not practical. And it's not a DAO, right? Wonderland Time is not a DAO. It's not meant to be, let's all get together and vote. It's going to be someday. That's the dream. It's not yet. It's too young. We need to move too fast. Imagine like FTX, we like to always toot their horn because they move fast and they move aggressively and they're buying in their, they're buying Blockfolio and every time you blink, they've got a new product. I think that gives you edge. And so I'm personally very happy to hear that he was able to spot a weakness in the portfolio, which is the treasury at Wonderland, which is like $700 million now, and say, look, we're way too exposed one directional to AVAX. We could sell that OTC, so we're not really dumping the market directly. We're selling that to another buyer, Alameda in this case. And then we're deploying that in different farms, in different LPs. We're building stability and we're maintaining of the edge that we've carved out, I think it was brilliant. And the fact that the price rolled over shortly after, I don't think it had anything to do with that.
Yeah.
You know, I was pointing to that TA, not very publicly, because I don't like to write up big threads about why things are topping. Nobody likes to hear that shit, and frankly, I don't like to deal with the people that don't like to hear about it. But, you know, this was the same thing. Bearish market structure tops, just a time to cool off, and you're either going to hit this and keep going, or, you know, we're just going to chill for a bit. I don't think him selling through here off the market on OTC had anything to do with it. So,
No,
and,
I mean,
and it's smart.
listen,
And then he went and bought the dip on Bitcoin ETH.
I think moving $100 million worth notional of stuff, right? Of anything other than Bitcoin and ETH, you feel that. I think $100 million of stuff getting moved in AVAX definitely, you know, the market feels that. Alameda is not just taking down $100 million worth of AVAX; they're fucking moving it elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, probably hedging it out, if anything, like they're shorting it on their exchange.
They're hitting it. And not only are they hitting it, but that just means they're not bidding for it there anymore. Right? So
they're pulling their bids elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
It affects, it's a sell. Okay. A sell is a sell is a sell.
It's a big number. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to bounce back, but it just means like, hello, this market just gobbled up $100 million worth of this stuff. And it's the biggest player in there. So you better believe that like those bids are not there anymore. And even the ones below it, like they're not even as firm. So that's just on the bid side.
Yeah.
And they're selling elsewhere. They're hitting it everywhere, the perp everywhere. So it's, you know, but that he moved units.
That's a really good point. I say it's like OTC, so it's harmless. You're like, no, that's a sell that would have otherwise gone somewhere else. Yeah. So that's a good point. It's a nice test of liquidity. I mean, where can you sell $100 million of a shitcoin and not really see? I mean, it was before this, though.
Yeah, no, it was trading like 120. I think he got filled. I did the math at like 112.5 average. It was probably trading 120, 118 when, you know, he literally made the transaction. And
right in the short reload zone, right?
Yeah. So it was lights out after that, but that's
kind of market wide. Yeah. I don't know if it's AVAX specific.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it's not as like, okay, should he have sold, should he have bought? The fact is, and Messi kind of, I was hoping he was here today. He could have spoken to this, but he tweeted this out as well, as the idea that like, I would rather have a couple of smart, single-minded, you know, people acting on my behalf, a benevolent dictator, if you will, early on, than like a squabbling gaggle of like 127,000 time holders, which is about where we're at now. Most of whom admittedly just, you know, don't really know what's best. And that's fair. Like I probably don't know what's best, didn't know what's best back when I first bought my first crypto, and a lot of time holders are coming in from TikTok and stuff. That's long, arduous process. And in the time to set that up as a DAO, we could see some real drawdown in what is otherwise a massive treasury. I mean, $700 million. Think about what you can do with that. It's exciting to think about. And now they're deploying it into yield farms, into these things. Like, I mean, it's growing. And it's going to grow independent of the price of time, which I really like, because you don't want to see a treasury like that just be like this, you know, Ponzerific thing that just goes up and down with the price of one asset. I mean, he knows what he's got now. They know what they've got now, and they're going to protect it, and they're going to grow it, and then eventually build a really robust DAO structure around it, and invest in the ecosystem and do all the good stuff we've always talked about. So, yeah. Sorry to go off on a tangent. He did piss people off though, and I think that was stupid of people to be pissed off by that, because I think a lot of it was just haters. You know, Omi Bromies coming in hot. By the way, I think time right now is like 99.4% of Ohm's market cap. So today might be the flipping.
Wow. The bottom line here is that I don't care what you're doing. You are going to have those naysayers and those trolls and those people regardless. Like, that is just a part of life that we all have to deal with from now going forward. I mean, it's never been easier to hide behind an Anon account of forever in multiples. You're going to face hate on whatever you're doing. And that's even if you're like truly benevolent and like purely good, you know, like it's just, that's a fact of life. So you got to be ready. If you're in a position like that, you're in the hot seat, period, no matter what you're doing. And
there's no perfect execution of a
no, you're gonna get it from, it doesn't matter, and even, it's tick by tick. It goes in your face just for 2 minutes. You're gonna be getting it, like, and even if it goes in your favor, they'll be like, well, you could have sold it better, you know, like,
Why did you sell it at 140? I'm broke. Broke people will find a reason to be mad at guys who aren't broke. I mean, that's not to shit on somebody who's not doing well. I mean, fuck, I feel for you, man. I've been not doing well before, but I find the pattern is like that whole not gonna make it energy that we like to meme about.
Yeah.
And I get very liberal with blocks just because I can't put that fucking energy. Like, I just, I just see, even in other guys' replies, I just see shit. I always joke I like to go to Ledger's replies, and he just has like an army of reply guys that just like to shit on him. It's like a meme, and I'm just like, block, 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 block. Like, if that's the first thing that comes to your head is to, like, hurt or harm or talk shit about someone else who's just out here doing their thing, I'm just like, see ya. Bye for me, shit. I don't with that. But,
I mean, should we take a look at some people are asking?
Let's do some.
The 2.0, the ohms, the what else? Blizz people.
Forks. I'm in MAXI, and I'm far from here to show one, but this one's actually held up pretty well. Somebody mentioned it to me. It kind of launched. It's done not a whole lot, but it's yielding. I think the APY is up to like 40,000% right now. This is the only other one I touched, and only because, Messi, who I don't even think is in it, but he's like, oh, it's I think like some big VCs and stuff, like he's like, it's not going to rug. They're just like, he's kind of knows the devs or whatever. So, and he originally told me about it. Then he went and sold it. I think he dumped it on me, probably right here. But so MAXI is the only other one I've been paying attention to, and very passively. Like, I put in a little bit. I think it's up a little bit. I think I bought it at like, higher than this, but it's yielding. So I'm just kind of watching it. What about you? Have you messed with that Solana one, didn't you?
Yeah.
What's that called?
I stick with Solana because you can experiment all you want, and it's so cheap and so
What's it
fast.
called?
Invictus.
That's.
But I'll tell you, the Solana user experience, like, I don't know. I haven't used anything better. I just haven't. It is so cheap. So.
Oh dear Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm really glad. Last time we talked, it was at like 1,100. I was like, I might buy nines back here. I didn't. Thank God.
Yeah.
See, sometimes you don't buy, works out. Sometimes you don't buy, you get left behind.
No, I listen.
It's probably yielding though.
I swapped some SOL into it, and I just put it in the staking contract, and I'm just letting it rip. I mean, it is what it is. I need it.
It'll do or don't. Yeah, it will or won't.
To touch and feel one of these things.
Okay, every time I look up, I see Rome in the chat. We're going to pull up Rome. You guys win. Like, enough that I know that it's popular, but it's not so much that I think it's like a spam group that's come here to make us look at Rome. Okay, so somebody bought a lot of Rome up at, or a little bit at 6,300. 10x from here. It's on Moon River, which is the Kasama something or other, or its own L1 kind of thing, Moon River. MOVR, which I actually bought and then sold way too early. But
is there a trick like this sort of thing? And it happens with most crypto charts, especially on like listing days and shit. You get those nasty, like, they look like misprints of price, and then I can't look at a good chart of it.
It's annoying. Yeah, as a chartist, I must say that's one of my least favorite things.
Can we get a tool that can like maybe
delete?
Do something about
there should be an option, right? Because I think part of it for TradingView, because I have asked about this, and it's part of it is like integrity of data. So they're like, hey, if the tick went there, we've got to chart it. It's historical data. Once the candle closes, that's written in history. At one point, that candle traded there. But on the other hand, I feel like there could be an option that's like a tool that you just click, like, clean up my fucking chart. Take out the anomalies. Take out the, what do you call them? Sky needles or... whatever you like to call them, from like decentral space needles. Yeah. So like, I think we could take those out, especially on the Uniswap pairs. That gets nasty. Now this one's a little cleaner usually because this is derived from coin market cap data. So it's slow and it's not responsive. You wouldn't want to trade a 5-minute on this chart. Coin Trader Pro. But it is. I like the data on this one.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's Moon River. I bought it back here and then sold it back here. I just sold it. I bought and sold in this same consolidation like an idiot. So anyways,
Yeah.
fuck that. Let's go look Rome. Yeah, I don't know what to say about Rome. I mean, chart-wise, these tokens are kind of boring, and that they should be. You know, somebody said I'd rather bull or bear than crab earlier in the show. I'm with you, except for like I'm a Wonderland holder, and I would love a good crab market. You know, those crab markets, big fat ranges on these coins, you make bank. 3-3 loves the range, and I think that ranging markets love 3-3s. Like Algo Stables last January, Dollar Protocol, some of the ones I got into that I was learning about this rebase shit, they thrive in crab markets, right? Last December, for example, January. And then once the bull comes back, nobody wants that yield. They want that 10x. They want that 20x. And they all start crowding back into the bull market. So if we do, you know, we had our big smackdown. So if we just kind of move sideways for a while now on the majors, we might see some love for Algo Stables again. But right now they're cooling off. And you cannot ignore Olympus. Whatever one you like to decide is your favorite, it doesn't matter. Olympus is the leader right now. It is the OG. It's the Bitcoin of 3-3, and it's you're not gonna perform very well when this is what your leader is doing. So I hope that we just saw the bottom, but I won't get confirmation of that until we turn back up. Right now we're just trending down.
Yeah.
And I say I'm not in Ohm, but you know, you want to see is some amount of this and then a new high, and then you can start to get frothy at the higher low. But until this, and that takes probably weeks, probably months. That's my take. I think months, but and so let's take a look at time. Time's the one I really want to chart. I'm just trying to be an equal opportunityist for all of these 3-3s. But I wrote this up actually today, so this is kind of cool visual for us today, for a family member of mine who wanted to sell his time. And I'm not to give financial advice. I just said, look, dude, we've just had 9 red days in a row. We're deep in a dip. I know you want to sell. That's why it's red. That's people want to sell there. And you're not, you know, but I was trying to explain the idea of a trend. Well, on the same conversation, a family member of mine said, well, I'm actually looking to buy here today. I said, look, neither of you, I think are on, you know, it's early to buy because it's in a downtrend. But it's late to sell. And if you're going to sell in a downtrend, sell on the bounce, sell, you know, try to get a resistance. So this is just a little write-up on trends. And I think waiting for that confirmation of trend reversal for that family member of mine who wanted to buy some time. But then they said, look, I'm buying it. It's going to yield. Like, I don't care if it goes a little lower. I'm buying it. I was like, yeah, that's the other way to do it. It's also a great way. But then this confirmation kind of stuff. So that's my take on time. It is trending down. It's its first real test. It's been up only since $50.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna see. You know, it'll be interesting to see what that risk-free value does. I think it's fluctuates a little bit because as the value of the things in the treasury goes up and down, that risk-free value. It's not just about treasury growth. It's about, you know, the value of the things in the treasury. So reducing that volatility with moving away from AVAX to some extent was good. We'll see. This one right now, you know, I've been skimming throughout, but like I still have a big old bag and I'm not really too worried about it.
Yeah.
But my cost basis is 0. That's an important thing, guys. You gotta, you know, if this stuff will stress you out more when you put in a bunch of money and you're like, you know, sitting there, take your original back. I mean, that's not financial advice ever, and especially not after, you know, 9 red days, but on any asset. You know, I talk about this all the time. Buy it, sell some on a double, sell whatever on a triple, quadruple, and then you're just free rolling.
Yep.
And then you can enjoy the ride. So
let's look at some. I mean, there's some alts that we talk about a lot here that, you know, when we see carnage like we saw on Friday night and this weekend with alts where they were getting super punished. It's kind of like a reset because the one name we were talking about that was really catching a strong bid beforehand was Atom, you know, and
it just broke out actually, like on the day before the tank.
And all you're seeing is, you know, good chart. It's like people are like this thing looks good in US dollar terms. This thing looks good against Bitcoin. Like, let's go. It's ready. And like Adam has done time and time again, it just cucked the whole market.
I got a bear case for you.
Yeah.
And this came up on one of my trips. I don't know if it was Miami. Okay. Where do you even use Atom tokens? Because I think it was talking to somebody about Osmosis and all these other chains living on IBC and Cosmos. None of them use Atom for gas. I was like, wait, so you use Secret for gas on Secret? He's like, yep. It's like, oh, you use Osmosis for gas on Osmosis? I was like, yep. I was like, so where the hell's Atom? And they kind of like nodded at me. They're like, yeah.
Was that Tor you were talking to?
No, I don't think it was Tor, but you know, I don't exactly. Alan is saying that in the chat. He gets
I'll tell you.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't
know. You know the guy that I tell you about, the early Bitcoiner who, you know, we met here in the city and we're in a group with, and he's the one who turned me on to AVAX when it was super low, and he's
bullish on Atom.
Golden calls. Well, the other day in our little group, he writes about, because he's bullish on Atom and the tech, and then he wrote, if I count up all of the airdrops that I've gotten in my, you know, with the Atom that I'm
Kepler wallet or whatever,
he's like, my Atom is worth $80 right now, you know, and it was trading 30 at the time or whatever. So he was like, he just, for him, a lot of value is accruing in these airdrops from staking your Atom. Now,
okay,
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. The Kepler wallet, by the way, if you guys haven't used it, is great for this. It has like all of the Cosmos chains preloaded in their own wallets. Shout out to Kepler, whoever they are. And you can stake directly in the wallet. And I don't have any Atom, but yeah, you can stake Atom in there. So you can get rewards from staking. I just wonder, where does that buy pressure demand come from other than just secure the network? But you can't secure the network. You know, you have to be incentivized. So there's got to be a buy mechanism. Maybe there is a way to use Atom for gas somewhere.
I don't know.
Base chain. I don't know. I don't know how Cosmos works. I should really look it up. I just like Secret. I like Secret a lot. I like a couple of the other ones.
The only thing I do know is that not paying attention when this particular person speaks has not been the move. So when this guy writes,
that's how I feel about you.
Well, no, I mean, when this guy writes stuff, I'm like, okay, like, and then when he repeats it, and when it's like, when I hear it a few times, then I'm like, all right, if I don't take a stab at this, then what the hell am I doing? Like, this guy's, he's
well, and I will be a broken record my whole life on this particular point, but like, you don't have to risk the farm. You know, it's not, you don't have to make it a big decision. You don't have to be like, well, this guy said it's like all in, all out. It's just like punt in $50 or whatever, whatever $50 is to you. You know, I always use $50, $100 because like when I was in my sports betting days, like, you know, it gives you a little some skin in the game, but you're not like dying and sweating. Put in a little bid. So I think I should. I think it's time for me to get some Atom. I've talked about it through all of this, saying, "Oh, I missed it. I wish I did." It's
what
right
a great
back.
Level. This is a level that
level.
You know what? If you thought you missed it when it had all this flow and that volume look, I mean, then I mean
this level is flexible. By the way, there's support here. We're at Wick 2. There's support here at the candle bodies. I like it. Yeah, you know.
Before the nuke, like, zoom in a little bit there. The green candle before the nuke, which was basically a market-wide nuke, that was some of the best buying volume we had seen in a long time.
Yeah,
so,
since September.
Really was like catching something.
Like that's breakout volume, you're saying.
And that was bad timing because literally we saw the Bitcoin nuke.
Poor Atom. Poor Atom holders. They're like, it's happening. The breakout, all the volume, and then it's just like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
But the nuke hurt it less because it wasn't already down on its knees. I mean, you can, relative speaking.
Yeah.
You know, but it didn't bounce very hard either. But it's at this level. It's clearly finding support. Look, if it closes, even today, that's 2 hours away. If it closes above 25.36, I mean, that's a cute little bullish market structure. That's like moving back up already.
Yeah.
So
I like
Atom.
I like,
technically speaking.
Yeah.
I don't love it. Like, technically speaking, I'd be like, okay, like, give me some consolidation, some sideways for a bit. You know, let me feel better about that being the bottom by doing this, and then, you know, buy the dip. But I like it here. Mostly I like it because your friend, and if you've got a guy who's like you are to me, to you, and now he's saying this about that.
Yeah,
I like it.
No, he's liked Adam for a while, but he's now putting some numbers to it, right? He's looking at his wallet and seeing, okay, well, you know.
Well, you have to stake it though. That's the alpha he's giving you. He's like, don't just buy it on exchange or long it on futures and perps. Like, get some, put it in the wallet, stake it.
Yeah,
and
this
then what?
$30 coin is now to me, like, with all of the quote unquote yield and rewards I've gotten, it's a $60 coin or 70, or you know. So, that. You know,
well, if I had a guess, because everyone loves a good guess, if I had a prediction, and we're going to use Adam as a general alt market indicator, I think end of the year, probably not that exciting. There's no new catalysts. People are flattening, you know, wrapping up the books. Then we get into January, we start building some momentum. Like, we get that spring rally is our next big leg. If we're bulls, I think that we have a spring rally is like the best bet. End of the year, usually pretty boring. So I don't know if I have to rush and do this today, other than that I'll forget if I don't. So and it's a staking play, so maybe I'm just going to stuff it in there. But if I had to be a predictor, I would say, you know, flat end of the year is likely, and then if we can just build some slow momentum and have a nice big fat spring rally, that'd be so sick.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows? Like, you know, check back next week. Every level that breaks or gets gained changes everything. But that's my feeling. That's kind of like what I came up with in the last day or two of soul searching and portfolio rebalancing and stats and spreadsheets. I was kind of like, I think I'm gearing up for a boring end of the year, and hopefully, look, maybe it's even a little bit more discounty, and then building a position into January would be the one.
Speaking of soul searching,
no. Speaking of soul searching, what do you got?
Well, Soul popped into my head.
Solana. Yeah, let's do some Solana searching.
There are so many positive things going on at Solana with growth and with building and with money flowing in that, you know, I think we're at a retest here. Yeah,
we are at like
to a level that listen, if you thought you missed it, it went to 20, to 30, 40, 50. You're getting a discount. It doesn't mean it's the bottom here, and you put your whole
26 off the highs.
Yeah. But
well, that's why I love how you trade, because like I asked you earlier, I said, how you position yourself? You say, well, I just like buying dips, right? And if something gets really rippy and you're way, you know, you'll close it up. I know you'll take your profit, but then the dips come and you don't really sweat. Is it a bull market? Is it going to be a bear market? You just say it's a dip. I buy dips, and then you don't have to worry like we do so often. And I say we as in me and anyone else who does, when you buy it and it just keeps going down. You say, well, because I didn't go all in. I sized it accordingly. I bought the dip, and maybe there's one more dip, and I'm going to just keep adding to that position and adding it. And that is not actually recommended for most people. I think you have a particular experience that I would say, you know, who am I going to say, like, go for it, adding to losers, so to speak? Yeah. Because your time horizon is so broad, and I think your cash flow is probably such that if you're underwater for 6 months to a year, you're still living at home. Like, you're not moving out. And that's an important part of this discussion, I think, for anyone who's like, Rob's just going to keep buying as anything goes down. I'll just do the same. Like, you don't ever want to be in trouble there.
No, it's not the best.
But you hang out with the Solana devs. Yeah. Right? You guys share an office.
We're intimate.
So you have a little more conviction, perhaps.
I do. I'm living it. I'm living it. I'm seeing people that are building on it. I'm seeing the investment money that's looking at it. I'm talking to bigger investors who are really focused on it. I mean, outside of Ethereum, which I actually can't believe we haven't looked at the ETHBTC pair yet. We have to do it.
I did pull it up quietly, while you were chatting.
But holy shit, because that is
it's just poking out, like a little turtle head poking out.
That could have been a lead in a different version of this show in a parallel universe. We could have led with the ETHBTC pair. right? I mean,
Yeah. It's hard to call bear with that chart like that. Look at that. Look at that.
What do we?
And we're in the USD pair is not even that exciting right now. Like, but it does look good. It does look good. I like this chart. I mean, if you just look here at this chart right here, this just looks good.
Does the transitive property work? I mean, because the ETHBTC chart looks so good, does that mean that ETH/USD inherently must look better than BTC/USD?
Yes.
You know, like
yeah. It does inherently mean yes, like versus Bitcoin. It doesn't mean versus USD though, right? They could both be trending down, and one's just trending down slower. Yeah. But in this case, I think Bitcoin doesn't actually look that bad. Locally, right? Locally, you zoom out, you say, okay, like since the May lows, we've been trending up. Okay, like higher low, higher low, higher low. Like this is an uptrend. Nothing's really changed there. So this is where a patient trader can start to get frothy. You get scared last week. You say, well, that's terrible. And of course, we keep talking about this 4-year cycle, and it's December, and it's like, oh my God, is it going to be a 2-year bear? I think there's a lot of emotions this time of year or this time of the cycle. But yeah, locally, this is doing the thing it should do on a higher low, high time frame, zooming in, and then you say, okay, it's reclaimed. It's just, this is a bullish retest. It's a pretty nice candle, nice volume. Looks good. And ETH decidedly looks just a little bit better, as it should. It's regaining sort of this support level that I was watching for quite a bit, got faked out around the Lisbon trip, and then just been chopping around through it, broke through it, regained it. Like, it's back above it. So I don't know. I could probably draw a better one. This isn't drawn today.
Let's look up, because I mean, we could talk through some of the nuances of what the ETH/BTC pair means to crypto, and then just what it means really when you're looking at ETH in and of itself. Because this particular cross, like, depending on how long you've been in crypto, back 3, 4, 5 years ago, the only real trade in crypto was these altcoins against Bitcoin.
Yes.
Right.
Alt BTC pairs. That was my jam for years.
That was it. You're using your Bitcoin, and you're getting in and out of alts with your Bitcoin. We all looked at the prices in terms of Bitcoin. Now, clearly still people traded BTC USD, and then ETH USD became the next biggest pair. But these alt BTC pairs were everything. And
yes,
ETH BTC it's the behemoth in Bitcoin pairs. And it
was the leader.
Yeah.
It was the king of the alts.
It was. And when that thing was in bullish structure, like, it was.
Dude, not even that long ago. I mean, look, when I started working for you, I like to say for you, when I started working with you, it was this, this was my main chart last year. I don't think I have the OG one, but it was like, I just kind of put this one chart together. Remember that? The Bitcoin dominance, we were riding it all year. And as it rolled over, alts versus Bitcoin, we're going ham in 2020. That was the story. Yep. And then they all got shit on, and then they went ham again, and now they are testing the all-time lows. The all-time lows. I mean, well, no, okay, they're testing the weeklies. The all-time lows are down at 35. All-time lows, like this was like the blow-off top, right? This was January 2018. Altcoins, many have gone 100x by now, even more, versus Bitcoin. This was an important thing to think about, not 100x versus USD, 100x versus Bitcoin, which had just then run up to 20K. So like hundreds of X versus USD in some cases. And then like literally everything, like floor punks, so to speak, like floor alts, just you go to any shit exchange, anywhere 10x in the last week of that rally. Mm-hmm. I remember because I went looking for, it was just a sport to find the thing that hasn't pumped, and everything had I been smarter, more experienced, I would have just exited all markets. But it was it was a bubble. But look, if we break that all-time low, like you better believe there's going to be fireworks, if nothing else, just for the mania of that being like price discovery of altcoins versus Bitcoin.
Yeah, one thing though, with this particular pair you're looking at on this chart, is this against a fixed number of alts, like the next 500?
No,
Or is this like
no, and this is the knock on it. Yeah, this is the knock on it. Like, we asked them when Pierce Crosby came on the show, January, February, March area this year, and I asked him, what goes into the formula for Bitcoin dominance. He didn't have a clear answer. He's not the dev. Like, he's like, I think it's probably pulled from CoinMarketCap or some. I think it says actually right on it. No, market cap BTC dominance, no. But like crypto cap, yeah. I mean, there is a data feed. Which alts get in there? Is it like horizontal, right, where there's just 1,000 new alts a month for all these pre-sales and all these new things, and is it just bleeding out that way? I don't think so. Knowing what it takes to get a coin like into the data feeds, the deeper data feeds. I mean, I've got coins that I've been sitting on for 5 months from pre-sales that they're not even on Zapperfy yet. Like, it takes a long time. So I don't think this is entirely just a bleed out because there's so many new alts. But it could be. I mean, the last time we had a big ICO bull market was here. A lot of new alts. That's the last time it tanked. So maybe I'm just being optimistic, but it's a valid knock. It's a valid knock on this. Like, how do you validate that data if there's not only more expensive alts, like, rallying versus Bitcoin, but if there's just a fuckload more of them being weighed against it? I don't know.
What's your target on ETHBTC here? I mean, what
big resistance at 1.0, 1.05. I mean, that's the next logical resistance. It's been kind of taking the ride up, blasted through this one, which was weekly resistance. It just went straight through like butter and then retested it. This was kind of like a bit of a front run on the next one I was expecting, and we're kind of slicing through that now at 0.85, excuse me, and then it's kind of clear sailing. There's not a whole lot to the left here. I mean, in retrospect, we'll say, oh, look at that was resistance, but I don't know if I'd buy into that one. I think it's going to be looking like butter up until 0.105.
You know what the interesting then here, the next layer of this is, okay, let's say ETH does rally to the 0.1, right? Let's look at where Bitcoin could be, because it could rally to 0.1. Obviously, it tends to be less likely to rally when Bitcoin and the overall market's trending down, but it's done that just now. So, is it going to hit 0.1 when Bitcoin is 60,000? So ETH would be 6,000. Is it going to hit 0.1 when Bitcoin is 40,000? So it'll be when ETH is 4,000. Is it maybe when Bitcoin's 75,000? We got $7,500 ETH. Like, kind of triangulating what price in dollar terms ETH will be if it does hit that, that 0.1 target that now appears to be kind of.
We talked about this last year too, about like a Twitter thread to talk about the implications of, an ETHBTC rally and what that could mean for ETHUSD. I'll be honest, you lose me in that one. Like, math wise, I don't know A, how I could calculate that, or B, like, if I could figure out a way to calculate it, there's just so many moving pegs.
Yeah, it's more just thinking. I don't think there's any magic to it. I think it's just kind of thinking to yourself, like,
other than the point of like, look what ETH is doing now, right? It's actually not lost that much. I mean, it had the big nuke last Friday and it's regained that, and it looks like it's just trending up again. Yeah. And if you think logically about what we know about this market and how those flushes work and how they are often just followed by fairly aggressive continuations once that sort of dead weight has been shed, December, end of cycle, end of year shit, pushed aside, objectively speaking, this is what you want to see after that kind of nuke. And then you just ask yourself, okay, so if that's what ETH's doing while this is happening versus Bitcoin, while this is what Bitcoin's doing, imagine if Bitcoin starts to rally and Ethereum, stays bullish versus that, then that's when you get rocket fuel. That's when you get the thing of dreams, December 2017 kind of shit. Yep. And that's where things just do unbelievable rallies. I don't think we're going to get September 17 type rally ever again because the markets were thin. They were filled with stupid money. Nobody's even looking at charts. They're just overbuying everything, and everything was just going to go up forever. Like, it was a dumber market. I think it's too competitive and much more liquid now to maybe let itself go that far, but I've been wrong before.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to be wrong about. If we do get into that, then we're rich,
You know
bitch. But
you know what I did enjoy? By the way,
Yeah.
Sushi's just decided to rally right now.
Oh, is it Oh, I was gonna say Sushi and Serum are really hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
Serum
Sushi-
really stings. It just hit its 88.6. Maybe it's a good buy. I don't know, but I tried to long it up here. This is why I use stop losses. You know, cut it.
Yeah.
Cut it here. It hurt. I lost money. I hated it, but look how underwater I'd be. Sushi. Let's go.
Sushi's decided to rally
Ooh.
15% today.
I mean, you
I
know,
know.
even a yo-yo will bounce off the floor if you throw it down hard enough. I mean, this is a trend. It's down. It's like, oh no, I lied. I was gonna say it's all-time lows. It's not. Look, and that's from someone. I don't hate on Sushi for a living. I liked it. I remember we talked about it. I said if it breaks out of here, I'm gonna long it. I did long it in this PCZ. I did lose money and sold, but same thing as Serum, like identical. You know, get the hell out if your trade idea is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
A really good lesson in here somewhere around just this is a sick setup. I mean, look at that downtrend. March 13th, breakout, volume, everything I need.
Yep.
And it still didn't work. And for anyone, you know, you want to see a working example of that, just look at Secret.
Oh,
this was
quit.
this.
Guess
what's
the
that?
guy DeLong. I
The
guess
Sushi guy. Yeah, I was reading some stuff, so maybe that's bullish then, because he was a bit of toxicity there. Is that the idea?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was toxicity or what, or if he.
I mean, this is what I was hoping for on Sushi when I longed it. I had just done this on Secret. I actually didn't even sell much of my Secret. I'm just staking it because I'm a pleb. But no, I believe in it long term. I think it's going to be higher. But look, yeah. So I was hoping to get that. I did not. But that's trading for you, baby. Let's.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack with Sushi. I stopped reading. I kind of like, it was all this he said, she said, we did. And, you know, I get it if you're a holder, that's important. But as like a market participant, I just thought, well, that's a bunch of shit I don't need to hear about. Like, it was just kind of depressing. It was just a bunch of nasty people being nasty to each other.
Right.
But it's not good.
No.
You know, I'm really like, if I hadn't yet, I would have closed my longs. You know, after reading that, I mean, you don't want to hear about infighting on a team like that. And I think the writing was on the wall for a lot of people when that OX MAXI guy left.
Yeah.
The chef. I think when that happened, as a non-DeFi OG or you know, somebody who knows all that stuff, I know Messi was very like, oh, like MAXI was their special sauce. He's gone. I'm out. And he and a few guys I know well that know DeFi well, they're all kind of like, sushi.
Yeah.
Because they kind of, I guess, saw this writing on the wall. I mean, the chart certainly painted a bit of a picture first, but you know, you and I always liked sushi. I mean, you liked it, so I kind of co-liked it. But look, I only lost money on it once.
I guess the guy resigned.
Okay.
And
let's Brooks. I might just like put this guy up on my wall today. He's my new favorite speaker, and that says a lot because I love Andreas Antonopoulos, but I think Brooksy just took first place for me.
Yeah.
Maybe second because Andreas got me in, but
let's take a look at one that I'm a holder of, and I do like, and it's gotten creamed here, and it's illiquid. It's Arweave, AR.
Arweave.
Someone asked about it in the chat. It's probably near a level. I mean, listen, if you liked it at 60, you gotta love it at 40.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Friday night FTX party in Miami. The only long, and I never long on leverage. You know this, but I'm stupid. So I did this time. As I was leaving for Miami on the plane, I like panic longed Arweave at like, I don't know, high 50s, like up here, because it had just kind of broken out. It was pulling back. Because it's in the PCZ, I thought, okay, Arweave. And I was going into the States. I can't trade on my FTX app down there, right? So I just thought, okay, I better get this little long up. Well, of course that's not a good trade, RT. And on the Friday launch, or the Friday dump, we were at that FTX party, and the only thing I could think of is like, God, I hope my fucking Arweave long closed. Yeah. So I took one on the chin on that. That was stupid. But
I gotta tell you,
it wasn't a great setup. It was
I look at a chart
setup.
I look at the chart right here, and who the fuck's up? This thing goes down on no volume. Look at the like, come on.
It's hit the reload zone. I mean, that's the thing. The chart is technically reset now. You know, like
It's nothing but
it rallied. Now it touched the RLZ. It's clear for takeoff if it wants to.
this is a low floater. It's a illiquid thing. You better be ready to take some hickeys on this. You're never gonna pick tops or bottoms on this thing. But
Don't leverage it, kids.
yeah,
Don't do what I did on a plane on a whim. It was like, it wasn't like a high leverage. You know, there was no liquidation level on it. It was a small position, but
yeah,
it's still stung. Relatively small.
I'm still, nothing's really changed for me with the RWE story.
Now I'm licking my chops, but no more futures. I want to buy some. I want to pick some. I think I have to go to Binance for that.
Yeah,
I don't know what the withdrawal
another one
fees
that
are, but
I think I had picked up after the dump at this level, Thorchain, like that thing was strong for a while, and that thing shit the bed. Like
yeah, I got out of that. We talked about that once. I actually did go trade it, which is refreshing because I often don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got that. You can see where I got out. I mean, I picked some up on this flip and did actually sell a little.
That was a great setup.
Yeah,
Fucking
like the flip was great, and then it came into resistance. Like this was another setup. This one for a later, wait for the next dip, and there's a new one. Yeah. This was sweet. I did get a little there, and then I held, and then I just ended up cutting the rest of my position, and thank God. When they all fall out of bed, they fall out of bed together. We are in sort of altcoin reload territory. So any altcoin that's not down, in, or around, or just having tapped this, like what I call the reload zone down here, I'm not interested because I can find so many good names in these zones. So like MATIC breaking to new highs looks great, but we're not in that rip-roaring bull. I'm not ready to buy breakout trades like that. I'll buy like the 10th breakout. Right, so okay, MATIC's breaking out to new highs, DOT's breaking out to new highs, Solana's breaking out to new highs, and then another one looks like it's about to go. I'll buy that one because we're in that kind of market. MATIC is an outlier right now.
Yeah,
RUNE is it's back in a zone now. Now I can get serious, but I think for me, and this does leave me behind sometimes. But like I said, end of the year. I don't know. Usually you just get this harsh thing and then you just need a little time to clean it up. Nobody really knows what the fuck's going on right now. And so you have this debate, and that usually takes the form of consolidation. And it might not look like that. It might be a little bit more volatile. But typically what I'm looking at now is just to enjoy my holiday, not put too much more risk on the books. And then if anything, skim a little risk on the books. And then let's take a look in January and see where I can lay risk for the year that looks good. Because I'll tell you what, my New Year's resolution next year is to do less trading. Now that I've hired an accountant and I've learned how taxes really work, I'm going to trade less. I'm going to be in and out of positions way less. I'm going to be realizing less profits repeatedly.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to do myself a favor and try to position in deeper, heavier, longer term positions for the year, ideally, where I can ride it out with very little work, and then yield farm.
Yeah, trying to think of some other ones that had some really good setups that look good and then shit the bed. THETA is another one. Let's take a look at that one. That thing got fucking duty slapped,
toasted. Ooh, see, and then but we're on the sweet spot. If we have an uptrend in the next anytime in the next 5 months.
Yeah, the TRI guys would say this thing looks like fucking gold.
A snack. Yeah, like they'd be like, oh, I can finally buy this now. Like I've been waiting.
Yeah.
And it's tapped every time it touched this level. You were in profit a few weeks later. So but I don't know. Then you get into tokenomics. What's THETA up to? How many users do they have? What's their market cap? I don't know.
But
I like this reload zone.
They got some NFT shit coming up. Who knows? I can't get a read on it. All I know is you usually are doing better when you're buying it here.
As a rule, like you just look back at big trends and it's like way too high, reload zone, something, chop, way too high, and then the reload zone of that, and that's just how they look. So this is typically buy town, but there are more parts to that setup, and so we keep mentioning TRI. I feel like I owe them a shout out, a proper shout out. It's the rationalinvestor.com. That's where I learned to trade all this stuff. We are not affiliated in a official way, But they do good TA, and I'd be remiss. Brian Beamish should be like, Colin, stop telling people it's like this is not a buy zone like auto. You want to see some divergence, you want to see reversal, you want to see a breakout. There's a trade setup. But if nothing else, and you're just aping around, and this is better than any other place on the chart. Is these levels. But yeah, they have a new term coming up in January. I'm going to give them that. I want them to get a proper shout here because I love those guys. They teach good stuff, and if you do good content, you're always welcome here. So
yeah,
but that's their jam. Yeah, and then every little shitcoin in the world that like goes crazy, I'll go into that chat and there'll just be somebody who's like, oh, banged out a double, like they're long on everything. Yeah. Micro long everything from reload zones into the abyss. What was the one old?
We're looking at shit. I know we've had a couple requests for ALGO.
I should look at. Yeah, we should look at ALGO. I want to be longer on ALGO. I want to own some. That's on my list. That's on my list of things. And this thing is just living in the PCZ since we found it. I've been charting it up, as you can see, trying to find excuses to buy. This is like December 31st. I don't know why I marked that end of the year.
This makes me want to buy it.
But this, typically this is what was back here. Yeah, so this is like old resistance levels, now support. We're just living there. We're not giving it up. It could have just been like up and down and then done. It's staying up there. Somebody's supporting it. It got listed on Upbit. That was this little space needle.
That's the new Binance listing.
Yeah, Coinbase still has it. They still have it, and then Upbit is like always been like the Korean pumps. They used to just remember the face melters of 2017. It was the KRW pairs over on Upbit or BitThumb. Anyway, so yeah, they caught this. I think 1 inch was the other one that day.
Oh my God! No, 1 inch was the same day as Ave.
Ave, yeah. Ave 1 inch.
You're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah. What happened to 1 inch just turned into 10.
Yeah.
And then Ave. Ave that day too. Yeah. So Upbit is catching, but then look, you don't buy exchange listing pumps. Like, be long and use them as exit liquidity, but don't be like, now that it's on this exchange, it will only go up. It's often not the case, and here we have examples of that.
I actually used that Ave pump, that listing, because everything else was getting hit that day. I'm like, this isn't gonna fucking last. Like,
yeah. Oh, did you short it? Did you find it?
No, I just got out. I had some laying around, and I was like, you know what? See ya.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like I wasn't looking to sell, but I know that I can sell now and get it back cheaper.
Well, on a weird day like that, it could go both ways. Like, what is it better than 50-50 chances? I mean, let's say the whole market would have turned around. Would that thing have kept going? Maybe.
It was a bearish day. I remember that. There was like two terrible day. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an ugly ass day, and that thing. I mean, it just. Yeah.
It looked good.
Yeah, it did. How about, let's see, what else we haven't looked at.
Let's get a couple more.
In a minute here.
5:30.
How about, let's see.
My old boy Ray Liotta. What do we got? No, again, same thing, hasn't moved. So sometimes I do my patient, like, I'll see you later, and I get left behind, but oftentimes it pays off. I find more often than not. And right now,
here's one where
I'm getting rewarded for waiting.
Here's one that's really hanging in the salt mines.
Oh,
a lot of salt for FTT, which is one of my darlings.
I looked at that during the hearing today. I thought, is it time?
It is, guys. It's almost time.
I think so. Yeah. Let's have a serious chat about FTT right now.
Well, one thing that got, like, you see the moon mission there in the middle? That was when they announced that they raised like $900 million at the $18 billion valuation, and everyone was like jazzed up for the raise, the first spike, like the earlier one.
And then
they announced this weekend, and I don't know if it was formal or not, that they just secured a $1.6 billion funding round at like a $36 or $38 billion valuation.
Ooh, I didn't hear that.
There is a disconnect here.
Yeah.
And I don't buy
it. This is like, what's the guy? Oh, never mind. Continue.
Yeah.
I'm going to find the GIF.
I don't know. It's just not, it's not passing the smell test for me. I also think, I don't know. Maybe Sam and Element is a little more hands off on the buy button on this.
This is Rob trying to explain FTT to everyone he knows. He's like, guys, I'm telling you, there's a disconnect here. It's undervalued. Hold it. And this is, but I feel you, man. Sorry to interrupt, but this guy comes into my head every time you talk about FTT.
Dude, totally.
Because I know that sometime down the road, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna sip our whatever you're drinking that day, and you're just gonna say, "Well, I told you so." Like, I have no doubt that this will make new highs one day, and it's kind of a gross amount of waiting.
They're gonna, Jedi Hornet in the chat. I know. Is it CZ? That's been my conspiracy, that he's just fucking blasting it, that he had so many tokens that it's just like they do that turbo TWAP. And I just happen to be looking at it like, wait a second, I got to go zoom into the 1 minute. That's a TWAP candle if I've ever seen one. And then you just see that they're peppering it, like just crushing it on the TWAP for like an hour straight. And they blast like $400 million worth of it or whatever.
Oh, God.
But
it's got to be hard to see. You're like, not again. He's back.
I'm
I think I'm ready to add. Look, I've had this bag that I've got. It's not huge. It's like it was bigger, and then I grew around it, and now it's where it is. And I've never added to it. I've traded a few times, but I haven't staked more FTT ever than my original 1,000. Okay, I'll just dox myself. I have 1,000 of them, and I've just staked them for the rewards you get and the benefits you get. You get free withdrawals, all the Ethereum you want to send in the world for free. I love it. It's my office. I work at FTX, but I'd like to add. I think it's time. I think it's time to add. If nothing else, like a DCA. Like I don't have to go all in, whatever, stop loss, but just going to add and stake more.
If you're in this thing for the long run and you can stake it and you get serum rewards, you get all this other shit, I think you're going to be rewarded in the end. I really do. I do agree with a lot of people in the chat. Sam has paid for a lot of the things he's bought. He's paid for it with FTT. And Sam will give people the choice. Usually you want FTT, you want USDC, USDT, you want serum. Like, what do you want? I got coins. But I do think that he did buy a lot of stuff with FTT. And what does that mean? It means that not everybody wants to hold FTT forever. And like people are going to have to sell their FTT. And it's, it
has, it can't be a direct comparison to BNB because of the different use cases, the on-chain gas versus, arguably Solana being the BNB smart chain of FTX and whatever. It is different, but if you want to consider it something can be compared to stock in a company, which I think loosely it could be because they're going to be burning as they grow and very successful. And as more users come in and they see the benefits of buying and staking FTT, right? There's still some tie-in. And after seeing him speak today and just kind of taking in his essence again in sort of how he delivers information and what they're doing, it just reminded me, like, there's only so many projects you can say confidently in 5 years, 10 years will still be doing something. They might have changed, they might have pivoted, they might have, airdropped a new token, but like there's only so many I'm like, okay, they'll be around. FTT's one of them. Probably top 2, 3, one of them, BTC, Ethereum.
Yep.
Solana, like AVAX, I think just moved into that pile for me. But majority of these coins that I fuck around with there and back, you're like, oh, maybe they'll win, maybe they won't. Uniswap probably be around.
Sam's a fucking winner.
Yeah, he wins.
He wins.
He wins.
He's a winner. I love that he's...
Do his token holders win is the question. I feel pretty good about it, but it is a slow, long bet, and in crypto terms, it's been boring as fuck. But look, it moves. When it moves, it moves. And I made the mistake. I doxed my amount that I have now, earlier in the show. Like, I bought that here in friggin' September 2019, an FTX new little exchange, a little shitty new exchange, but my buddy showed me on it, Raf over at TRI. He said, dude, keep an eye on FTX. Mm-hmm. Polish guy, great dude. And anyways, he... I got stopped out on this wick. I think I've told this story before on stream, but I got stopped out on this wick, which I shouldn't even have had a stop loss because I was planning to hold it. Didn't get it back, so I was so salty about the wick, and I had that, but I've just held that staked amount. It's hard to do, but I think I'm ready to add, despite how higher up it is. But look at this thing. This thing can move. And so it's just a matter of like, after this kind of move, you can expect a degree of consolidation, and that's roughly what we're carving out right now. What does that look like?
Maybe I read, I mean, I'm telling you, when I saw the $1.6 billion raise additional, I was like, I was ready to just like fucking light up the order books. I don't know, but it was such a negative weekend. And then I had a nice call with an investor a couple days ago who was in the FTX equity round and all that, and we were both like, he's wildly bullish of the token as well. We were both sitting there. It was so funny. It was like the picture you showed. We were both in there like showing each other. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, but I see that
too. I know. It was hilarious. But hey, we'll see. You got to be patient.
Look, it's got a level to reclaim here. I mean, I think as a DCA, I've been very good about being patient on this one. I did trade it through this once or twice, high or low here, pick some up, sold it. Like, I haven't been very high conviction because of the TWAPing, because of all this shit. But there's a setup here now. We're in the reload zone, high time frame. We are making a little W. We just washed the books. The TWAPer has slowed down, has he not? Have they not? Haven't seen them around in a little while.
Yeah, I usually tweet whenever I see it, but the last time I saw it, I was like, you know what? I'll save the people my stupid TWAP tweets. Like,
nobody cares, Rap. No, I do care. I literally have got notifications for that tweet. So
like, no, give this shit anymore. These stupid TWAPs. Like, let it end already.
But isn't that the essence of a bottom? Of like a bottom in a down move where you're just like, nobody even cares anymore. Everyone's looking the other way. Nobody's talking about this coin. Somebody did mention just now, Benjamin Blunts or somebody on Twitter's talking about it.
I think we'll see a good, I think we'll see a big candle.
Like up here, it was like everyone, buy as much FTT as you can now, and you can retire in 10 years. It's going to go up only. And I think that they were right, except for that up only in markets is never up only. It's like up and to the right. And so is this what we see next?
I'll tell you what I might want to, I might want to look at the FTT BTC pair here and maybe deploy some Bitcoin into it. It's probably at like 0.85, like
0.868.
Yeah,
let's go zoom out a bit. Let's get that. Let's get off this log, this weird, gross log.
This might be the one. This might be the play. Make some more Bitcoin and fucking,
yeah, maybe a few bucks. FTT. I actually have Bitcoin now. I picked some up this week for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
I have spot Bitcoin, which doesn't go very far on FTX, although I bet they have an BTC pair.
No, they do.
They don't have all the ones that I like, with Binance. I'm sad I'm not on Binance anymore, but
this might be Binance. This could be a play.
Yeah. Okay. You had my curiosity. But now you have my attention.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look.
It could be. I'm honestly
RLZ within an RLZ.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think this one drives the price, right? I find that the volumes on this don't always, they don't excite me, but it's the USD pairs, and then this just follows. This gets arbed up.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to look for, the breakup volume here.
Let's set a reminder. Let's look at this in 3 months. Because
I think we're going to look at it next week. No, we're going to look at this every week for the next 3 months. But no, let's do that. Maybe somebody in the audience, maybe Victor, would be kind enough to give us a reminder.
I'll tell you. So one other one that we can look at.
Timestamp this. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Timestamp it. Was Helium.
HNT. Yeah. And you're my Helium guy. Nobody else I know talks about this coin. What do you got?
We've talked about it in the past because I heard about it from a few normie no-coiner people who were like, who were talking about the miners and stuff. And this is a big multi-coin bag. They're very, very much supportive of this. They're very bullish on it. They spoke about it the other, they speak about it at conferences. They're tweeting about it.
It's one of their main bays.
Yeah, he
And
tweeted.
for context, one of their main is Solana.
Yeah.
So they like to be right, and they have been pretty on point.
And they like to support their when they have conviction in something, they like to fucking support it and be vocal about it. So this to me, it's getting to be an interesting level. It saw such ferocious buying, like
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like vertical. Yeah. Like,
so,
and it's 60. Well, okay, not right now. It peaked at 57% off the highs. It's now at 49% off the highs. So it's a 50% discount on what somebody paid for it just a month ago.
Yep.
So you're getting a good deal versus them. I like this chart as far as like it's coming into a zone. And I think this
it likes to, when it catches a bid, like it catches a bid. I think it's got the right people behind it. I was reading today because Kyle Samani tweeted something about it, that there's some supposed positive catalyst coming up. I don't know. It's something to keep on the watch list.
And look, there's two ways I'd think about this. You can either have where you're like, okay, are we there? And it's just going to be a dip and go. Or, and this is more what I'm, again, reiterating my thesis for this month and this maybe in 2 months, you get that up, then the big dump, and then it's just like sideways for a little while.
Yeah.
Cleans it up a little bit, and then it's like, whoa, we're now up, dump, and then sideways for a bit. Up, dump, sideways for a bit.
Yeah.
And then, so I am just, and I keep saying it because on each chart I'm like, oh, this looks like it'll be that too. And that's kind of was my takeaway this week when I started going over all the charts again after a week away. But yeah, I like this one. Okay, putting this on my short list, which I'm going to write down because I often say these things, but there's a few here. And the nice thing about dollar cost averaging is I did it. I actually finally did it. I don't just talk about it. I did it once this summer with Solana and all the Solana plays, is that you just pick a size that you don't even care, right? You just buy a little bit. You're not too worried about, is it this month, next month, or next year that it's going to go. And if you do it at the right times when it's like deep into this kind of stink, then you often don't have to wait as long as you think. And if you do, it's usually not too underwater because it's like a sideways waiting.
Yeah.
So I think FTT and HNT not as much. FTT for sure is in a zone where I'm like, I can friggin' DCA this thing with a fairly decent amount of comfort. And then this one, I'm gonna give it a little more time.
Yeah.
But I've also said that so many times. I said that at Solana at $23 and then at Moon. After
you never
you and I had this chat right here. Right here, I will find the clip. Somebody find the clip. No, we had this chat, and I said the same exact speech. I said, well, we're going to move sideways. I think a little bit more down. Not quite ready. Well, it reversed that day. I bet that's a Wednesday. Check it out, July 20th. And then, oh, baby. I'm just glad I saw this trend line flip. I did end up buying some, but
yeah.
So usually when you say things based on FA, and then I come in and try to apply my TA, I'd say on a whole FA wins. But yeah. Let's see.
You never know with this shit. I mean,
my one takeaway though from today for sure is that it is time. I've been watching FTT, like just watching it, just checking it out from afar, and I do want in, and I know if I forget to buy even a little bit here, I'm going to forget to be long at all. So, and the stake I have, I'm long on it, but it's like that's staked. It's not, I'm never selling it almost. So if I want to benefit from the next leg of this, I need to get a new bag. So I think that's probably what I want to do this week. Keep an eye on this chart, guys. This could be a really nasty close or a really beautiful breakout, and it's all going to come down to Sunday in 4 days, because if this ends up just being a wick and a red close, that's it's not a top signal in and of itself, but then if the next week is red, then it's terribly gross. That's like end of days for a few months. But it is right now, and that's why it's like, if you're going to chart candles, you really want to wait on the close, because this is a weekly and it'll paint a very big picture if it closes above this level. Oof, that's like bullish 4 weeks. Bullish for weeks or bearish for weeks, basically. But look, it could just close as a doji and mean nothing at all. So I'm going to wait for the close on ETHBTC. That's a big big pair to be watching. Probably as ever the most important one, because if it breaks out, which it already kind of has,
yeah,
we can expect some other things to outperform Bitcoin along the way as well. And then Bitcoin, look, how much room does it have to move sideways here? I mean, what's its range? I saw a chart the other day that I thought was interesting of somebody saying that they had kind of thought that they would get up here and just see like a big, fat, stupid range for a while. And I think it was Pasta, a buddy of mine who teaches me about DeFi, and I teach him charts. And he put out the chart just saying like, I was kind of expecting a big range from Bitcoin. And like, meanwhile, everything else is just churning up versus Bitcoin and growing in USD while Bitcoin just kind of has a day. So maybe we do something like that. I don't know. I don't think it would be this low, but
I'm so bullish Bitcoin in the long run. I mean,
yeah. Like, look at the hearing we watched today. I mean, the sentiment shift in the U.S. Senate. They were just chomping at the bit like, okay, how does it work? Why is it important? Okay, and how can we help you make it safe and big? And how can we be the lead innovators? Like, it was a very interesting shift from what I'm used to, other than like, Dickhead Sherman and a few others that are just never going to change. But and they, like, to be fair, they represent a cohort of boomers that probably want to have that voice heard. But it was a very good day. So you're right, very bullish.
Yeah, I mean,
the macro, whether that translates in price this year, next year, after a 2-year bear market, who knows?
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm if anything, I'm at my usual position, which is wait and see for a lot of these. But I did buy some Bitcoin this week. I just thought, look, if that's the rinse and we're up here, I can buy a little Bitcoin.
Yep.
And CRV. Those are the two things I bought this week. CRV, try crypto 2, and a little spot Bitcoin. Bought the dip after not owning any for a while. But I might trade it all away for FTT.
Yeah, well,
you heard it here first. Let's flip back to the studio, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to be back in here with you. Kind of a treat for me, being a big Rob Levy fanboy, to just get to hang out straight up, straight shot of Robbie today.
That was great.
Not that, the full panel is my favorite, but this was a special treat getting in here. And I know a lot of people watching look forward to hearing your takes, and I try to do my best not to, ramble on too long and give you the mic, but
dude, you're gold, man.
I think we did pretty well.
You're gold.
I think we did pretty well. We got 2 hours of juice today. And if you guys liked it as much as I did, hit the like. I can't hit the like because it's our account. But you can.
Yeah, and I would say, like, if you think it's good content, I know that when I just love, if you love markets, you love listening to people talk shop. And, that's what we do. If you like it, tell your friends about it, because a lot of people don't know we exist here.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't, and you know what? For what it's worth, I like the cute, cozy crowd that we have, but we would rather have a bigger one. It's a play for growth, guys. You got to grow or die. So if you all want to hit up, who let us know. Anyways, it's been a pleasure. I'll be back Friday in some sort of medium, probably on YouTube. Just kidding. It'll definitely be here. So come on, we'll do some charts. We'll see what's worked out in the next 2 days based on what we talked about today. And we'll get more into the grease, maybe do a little more gem hunting. So until next time, guys, whatever you do from now until Friday, always play from a position of strength. Take care.
Thanks for coming, guys.